The Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network is proud to present Old Dominion Athletic Conference basketball from inside Turner Gymnasium on the campus of the University of Lynchburg. The Washington and Lee Generals in town to take on the Lynchburg Hornets. Hello, basketball fans. I'm Kyle Haney, and my tag team partner tonight coming off the top rope is Mr. Tim LaDuca. Tim, we just saw an exciting men's contest inside Turner. It's a double dip night. We think the women's game is going to be just as exciting, if not more so.
Yeah, Lynchburg's opponents tonight in the men's side and the women's side both came in ranked, both came in with records of 18-2. So the ODAC is a great conference for basketball, men's and women's, and it's certainly on display tonight.
Yeah, Washington and Lee enters the contest at 18-2, Tim, 12-1 in the conference. Interesting little statistical oddity here, Timmy. The last time Lynchburg lost was to Shenandoah on January 20th. Same thing for Washington and Lee. Their last loss is to Shenandoah as well. And then another interesting note on top of that, both of these teams beat Virginia Wesleyan in their last game. Lynchburg took down the Marlins 71-57 in Virginia Beach. And then Virginia Wesleyan lost to Washington and Lee 78-44. So the Generals are on a 3-game winning streak. They've won 14 out of their last 15. Hornets are playing well also. They've won 4 of their last 5. And we're going to get to see for Washington and Lee not only one of the best in the conference, but one of the best in the country in number 50, Mary Slicener.
Yeah, and she's 13th in the country in scoring, coming in right around 21 points a game. Kind of the bigger figure, and kind of caught my eye a little bit more. 14.5 rebounds a game, so she's averaging a double-double. Significantly harder to do, but to be surpassing a double-double by nearly 5 rebounds is so impressive.
She's a shot blocker as well, over 63 rejections on the season. There's the team tail of the tape. You see some advantages there for Washington and Lee, Tim. Probably not unexpected with the record of 18-2. You know that all of their statistics are going to look pretty good. Ball is in the air, and Washington and Lee wins the early tip, and it's a quick basket going right to left for the Generals. Number 14, Quinn McGinnis scores it. The other 4 starters for Washington and Lee, number 10, Elka Preckle, number 20, Hannah Malik, number 34, Caroline Schimp, and number 50, Mary Slicener. 5 starting for Lynchburg includes Sammy Sever. She had the basketball there. Now it's Brooke Kaysen. Bree Spainauer all alone underneath. Can't convert from point-blank range. Spainauer slow to get up. And then the other 2 starters for Lynchburg, Sayer Brandstatter and Macy Mullins. Slicener's free underneath, and she also missed. So a pair of back-to-back bunnies, some people call them, Tim, that just will not go down for each squad.
Yeah, kind of a gift for the Hornets from the Generals there, but Bree Spainauer's miss looming large as Slicener now picks one off and is going to go coast to coast, and she's blocked.
Wow, great hustle by Sammy Sever, and it went off Slicener too. So not only does Sever, you get credit for the hustling back 1, then you get credit for the block 2, and somehow it bounces off Slicener, and it's a Lynchburg possession. So great play there early by Sammy Sever.
A lot to digest here already. Score's only 2-0, but we've seen 2 layups missed. Here, we'll catch our breath now with a free throw. The basketball guys are granting us a chance to really settle in here.
Well, they say ball don't lie. It does put Sammy Sever, the 5'9" senior from Cary, North Carolina, on the charity line. The first foul of the game is on Mary Slicener. And, that's one way that coaches would talk about attacking those great players, Tim, is try to get them in foul trouble. Try to go at them when they're playing defense. And the drawback to that is Slicener, as we know, is a great defender as well. But it may be something in the cards for Coach Allison Nichols and her squad. We'll see as the game unfolds. And Sever hits both to tie up the contest at 2 apiece.
Going at Slicener may be a double-edged sword. Yeah, you want to get her foul trouble, but standing at 6'1", you're not going to be granted too many good looks. You're really going to have to draw a lot of contact.
She's so active. And back to her skills defensively, she's the shot blocking leader on the team. She's also the leader in steals as well, so she can defend the entire floor, not just around the basket.
Quinn McGinnis is the only scorer so far today for the Generals. She averages just under 8 points a game, and shot blocking has been a benefit so far for the Hornets. Spainauer comes up with a denial.
Macy Mullins will fire from the right wing for 3. No good. Rebound was loose briefly, but Slicener with a good block out on Sever. She picks it up, and the Generals want to run. Speed attack here. Now they'll slow things down and hit the trailer. Slicener, good ball moving over to Schimp. Schimpf will lean in around a defender and score. Nice English on that cue ball off the rail to drop it in the pocket for 2 more. Generals lead by 2.
See now Macy Mullins carrying the ball up the court for the Hornets. She was able to get off that three-pointer in the last possession because she wasn't the ball handler. I'd like to see Macy Mullins have some more chances to work off the ball to be able to create the three-point shot.
Yeah, sometimes that early in the shot clock 3 can be effective, but it feels like more often than not, you want to work it around, you want to probe a bit, try to break the defense down, get an over-rotation, one of those things. Looks like Lynchburg, I think they're in the man-to-man coverage. Schleissner will fade away and shoot from 4 feet and drop that in, and now it's a 6-2 Washington and Lee lead.
No one on the Hornets rivals the 6'1" stature, except for Taylor Brown on the Hornets defensively, height-wise. So we'll see if Brown gets a couple extra minutes trying to play the matchup with Schleissner, but she is a freshman.
Sammy Sever behind the back dribble, got tied up briefly. She'll recapture, feed it up the sideline to Spainhour. Shot clock at 5. Hornets hear it, got to go. 3, 2, Sever on the run, got iron. Credit there. What a possession that comes up empty for Lynchburg. Nice defensive work from Washington and Lee. They've only given up over 81 time this season, the Generals, so they can really lock you down defensively. There's a catch-and-shoot triple from Hannah Malik, no good. And that ball's out of play, back to the Lynchburg Hornets. Basically played 3 minutes in the early action here. Not much separation, Tim, but you're getting an indication why this Washington and Lee team is so well thought of. They can do a lot of things to make life difficult on their opponents. Yeah,
playing under Kristen Clancy, the 12th year head coach out of Brandeis, really runs a tight ship here for the Generals.
Sarah Brandstatter, grad student from New Jersey, knocks one down for the Hornets, and they're back within 1, 6-5. You do get the feeling, Lynchburg can't rely completely on the 3, Tim, but it's got to be part of the offensive program today if they want to beat Washington and Lee. Nice defense by Spainhour to wall up, make Schleissner shoot over and missed. Initial fast break. Brandstatter feeding to Sever that rolls around. Bree Spainhour got hands on it. I think she was fouled by number 34, Caroline Schimpf. Yeah, it's going to be the Generals' second. Schimpf's first. And we get 4 reinforcements off the bench, 2 for each club. It's Letty Michael and Olivia Harris for Lynchburg. And number 5, Sarah Zimmerman. And one other change as well. Yeah, 13, Brianna Shuttlewood also in for the Generals. Here's Spainhour. Rim run beginning at the right wing, ending up on the left side of the iron, and Spainhour was fouled by number 5, Sarah Zimmerman. So Zimmerman picks up a quick one, and it will send Bree Spainhour to the free throw line to shoot 2 for Lynchburg. She is the points per game leader for the Hornets at 10.4, also leads them in rebounds. And Spainhour is the block shot leader as well. So one of those do-it-all players and a 2-sport star here at Lynchburg, doing great things on the volleyball court as well.
Spainhour getting help, though, in the scoring department from Brandstatter, not just because Brandstatter leads the team in assists, but also because Brandstatter is right up there averaging 10 points a game.
It's a pretty well-balanced Lynchburg offense that I'm sure we'll continue discussing. We see the Hornets defending the basket to our left. Another 3-pointer up from Malik, no good. Offensive rebound, Schleissner. Battle for it in the middle. Washington and Lee gets the kick-out triple try, no good. Scramble. It looks like demolition derby right now in the lane, and now finally the jump ball call goes up. Good fight from both squads there early. One of those, if it was soccer or lacrosse, you'd call that a goal mouth scramble, and those are always fun to watch in any sport. We are tied 6-6, and the possession arrow will give it to the Hornets.
100 offensive rebounds already this season for Schleissner. So if you're able to limit somehow the second chance possessions for the Generals, that could also cut into the advantage for the Hornets. Just boxing out, making sure you have Schleissner's number circled right now. Schleissner's going to take a breather on the bench.
We'll see how Washington and Lee operates without the dominant post player. They'll go to the post here. Nice action to send a cutter through, but the pass was off target, stolen by Brandstatter. She'll whistle it up the far left sideline. Letty Michael stepping into a 3. Back iron, Brooke Kaysen. And Letty Michael will get another try from the same spot. That one was short, but also missed. Two good looks there for Lynchburg, though. I don't think you feel bad about that if you're Washington and Lee. Probably like the recovery there on the next missed three-pointer. Zimmerman feeds it in the corner to McGinnis. Now McGinnis to the top of the key for Malik. Hannah Malik, runner on the way. No good. Brandstatter's everywhere, isn't she? Steals, assists, rebounding. She is a stat stacker, sheet stuffer. Might get an assist here on a three ball coming. No, wide right from Bree Spainauer. Brooke Kaysen, back line defense there to make life difficult on Malik as she was driving. Now a double team in the corner with Brandstatter and Harris. And that ball spills out of play. Here comes more fresh faces, and I believe we're going to get our first time out of the game. Tim, 4:44 remains in period number 1, 6-6 between Washington and Lee and Lynchburg. We'll step aside for a 30-second breather ourselves right here on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. Getting back to basketball, Kyle and Tim, we're always having fun. We're going to have more fun here. It is a tense early start to the game, though, isn't it, Tim? 6-6. Lynchburg, the gym was packed for the men's game. Some fans have stuck around, but it's a little different vibe, and I think both teams are trying to get the feel for things early on. Traveling violation on Caroline Schimpf, and that might be an indication right there of just a little bit of early tension. Even for an 18-2 ball club like Washington and Lee, sometimes to start the game, the rhythm's not there. Sammy Sever, coast to coast, the Sammy Sever Express, no stops, right to your destination. It's 2 points, and it's the first lead for Lynchburg.
Doors opening on the left for the Sammy Sever Express as the lefty. Coach Nichols loves, kind of the unique look that Sever can give this Hornets offense, especially creating from the left side of the court.
We got to file that one away. Response from Slicener there with a basket inside. Macy Mullins trying to carve up the defense. Shot went in, but footwork was not there before she raised and released, and that's a turnover. 8-8 tie ball game. Coach Allison Nichols probably doesn't hate this early start for her team, right?
Yeah, certainly. There's a foul on Slicener. Things are moving slowly on when you're on the defensive side of the ball, but when Lynchburg gets possession, it's quick up the court, looking for a three, which I think is the right game plan, especially for a team that has consistently been setting a program record in three-pointers every few games as they work through the season.
Yeah, Lynchburg they have 8 games with double-digit threes. And as we touched on, it might be part of the game plan today. We're seeing Lynchburg attack inside quite a bit, though. Jumper up and jumper in from Taylor Brown.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Taylor Brown actually taller than Slicener, but we haven't seen either of them matched up on each other yet.
Brown will scramble for a loose ball rebound. Mullins one-hands it, but Slicener was there. See what the call is on. I think that feels right. Looked like it went off Slicener's right shin. And it will be Lynchburg basketball. Tie game, 10-10. Yeah, Lynchburg double-digit threes, Tim, in 7 of their last 11 games. And talked about recent success. Lynchburg has been playing well lately. They've won 4 of their last 5. That lone loss was up in Winchester to Shenandoah. That was a game where Lynchburg had a big lead at half. And Lynchburg had a lead against Bridgewater on the road as well and was not able to secure that. But it's a Hornet ball club that I think has surprised some people. Maybe hasn't surprised Coach Allison Nichols, though. She expected this. Turnaround jumper from Taylor Brown. Good look to shoot on Schimpf, but it won't fall. 3:05 left to play. Slicener will run the floor herself and just glide up to the rim for another deuce. 12-10. Generals out in front by 2 again.
And so it's very quickly the Mary Slicner double-double watch. She's got 6 points on the day and ringing in with 3 rebounds already.
Olivia Harris, open 3, front ironed it. Karams into the hands of Sever, and she goes up on Slicner for the and 1. So there's your double whammy that we talked about, Tim. It's a bucket, and it's a foul on Slicner, her second. Now, you got to know Slicner's a quality player. She's used to playing with multiple fouls. And now with 2, Slicner will go to the bench, by the way. Great replay. But with 2, Slicner may not be as likely to swipe at a shot like that. She might just go straight up. Took a chance to get that one from Sammy Sever.
Yeah, and I think she was trying to make up for, on the long rebound, she kind of didn't box out, reach for the rebound, and Sammy Sever was able to snatch it away from her and just trying to make up for the play. And she has that ability, but just a little bit smarter from the sophomore, maybe prevent that, turning that 2-pointer into 3 points.
Great stuff by Sever. Tied the game with the field goal. Gave Lynchburg the lead with the free throw. High-low post entry there for Washington and Lee will give them the lead back, 14-13. Kat Pettigrove off the bench with her first points. Sever wants to activate, looking around. Bounced it to Brown, got it back. Nice little no-look there from Sammy Sever to free up Brown on the baseline. Jumper's no good, but the ball's knocked out of play. We're getting a look at Casey Kelly in the game for the first time, Tim LaDuca. She had quite a week in multiple sports for Lynchburg. Casey Kelly, number 20, off the bench. It was 8 points and 10 rebounds on the road at Virginia Wesleyan. And then also some work in the triple jump in indoor track and field that got her the ODAC Athlete of the Week.
Yeah, she hadn't really done the triple jump since May when she was at the national championship in Rochester, New York. And she goes out there for the first time in about half of a year and has the 12th best triple jump in the country at the moment.
It boggles the mind a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, because even when she started jumping for Lynchburg, she really didn't have any real teaching. She kind of just did it without a coach in high school, and now with a little bit more guidance from Jim Sprecher, the director of track and field at Lynchburg, she's really honing in that skill.
Well, and that triple jump is a very skilled type of a move. I mean, you don't just pick that one up, but apparently if you're Casey Kelly, you do just pick that up. So it's really impressive and really cool to watch. And she's one of those players that's always smiling out there, always giving it her all. She's a basketball player, too. She's not just an athlete. She's got some skills as well. Set up at the free throw line. Sammy Sever with the basketball left baseline. Now it's between the rings to Sayer Brandstatter. Tried to bounce one into Casey Kelly, but nice defense by Elka Preckle to take it away. Bridgewater's going to run. 3-on-1 fast break. Great defense there by Sayer Brandstatter. I mean, all alone on the island. Makes the block and almost kept it in bounds.
Yeah, and right idea there from Brandstatter. Just kind of throw it out there away from the basket. It's really good she didn't throw that into the middle of the court where even if Washington and Lee did catch it, they weren't going to get an easy put-back layup.
That's that basketball IQ that people will talk about. It can show up in many forms. Step back triple from Malik. She's kind of been bone dry from outside so far. There's a foul on the missed shot. And really, number 20, Hannah Malik, is the other great scorer on this team. She went over 1,000 points in her career earlier this season. Did that against Randolph-Macon back on January 20th. Brooke Kayson's back in the game for Lynchburg. Washington and Lee with less than a minute to play in this first quarter. Shot clock down to 13. Malik will back it out and look over the chessboard. Got 2 high ball screens to run off. She'll go right. Mid-range coming. Also no good. Offensive rebound for the Generals, and the stick back will fall. 16-13. W&L up 3. Kat Pettigrove. Sammy Sever finds the seam, attacks the window. No good. There's the athletic Casey Kelly with an offensive board. Lynchburg will recycle a possession. Sever for 3. No good. Kelly's there again. Good work. Sayer Brandstatter with 1. No good on that shot. Lynchburg's going to get another try. 4 shots on this possession, Tim? So far. Right low post to Spainauer. Cut around the defender with the reverse. That's crafty right there. That is excellent right there. And how about this tie up from Brooke Kaysen? Lynchburg playing some energized basketball here early. 3.8 seconds left in the quarter. Lynchburg down 1. Plenty of time for a catch and shoot here as the horn would sound. maybe even a couple dribbles as well with 3.8. That's, okay. I think the possession arrow hadn't changed. It's going to be Washington and Lee basketball. The Generals have to go the length, but again, with 3.8, Timmy, probably still time for a general basket if they hustle anyway.
Yeah, you're going to see the three-quarter court pressure here from Lynchburg try to prevent an easy look from the Generals from happening.
Got it off in plenty of time, but the shot was short, and that's how quarter number 1 will end. Not a bad one for Lynchburg. They do trail by 1. Generals lead 16-15 after 10 minutes in the books. We'll step aside, and then we are back in just a moment on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and ropes course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
10 minutes in the rear view mirror on this final day of January, and the second quarter is underway. Into Casey Kelly. She'll try to sprint in from the baseline. No good. Loose ball again. Kelly's in there to tie it up, and the possession arrow will favor Washington and Lee again. Lynchburg started the quarter with it. Early impressions there, Timmy? I mean, I think both teams have got some things to feel good about, and then probably a list of things they'd like to clean up and do a little bit better as well.
Yeah, of course, the attention not only from Allison Nichols' team, but also from the press box up here is Mary Sleisner's effectiveness in this game. 6 points, 3 rebounds already, 1 offensive board, and she's still not on the court right now coming out of the first quarter break. And I think as long as Lynchburg can keep not only keep it close, but really take advantage of the time that Sleisner's not on the court, can be a really big benefit, because you know that she's going to be putting up her minutes and get her 20 and 15. That's just going to happen from her.
Bree Spainauer got whistled for her first foul there. Lynchburg's first of the quarter, obviously. Spainauer playing tight defense inside. Perimeter shot went up from the left corner, and then the basketball spills out of play. We'll get our first look at Darcy Ross in off the bench for Lynchburg. It's Ross, Kelly, Sever, Brandstatter, and Kaysen right now for Allison Nichols' squad. They trail by 1. Feels like it's been the person-to-person, player-to-player defense for Washington and Lee. Casey Kelly, lane line rim run, rejected, but Lynchburg will pick up another loose ball. Brandstatter knocking the bottom out of 1, just left of center, and that will give Lynchburg a lead, 18-16, 1 minute into quarter number 2.
So for Lynchburg to be in the lead and to only have hit 2 3-pointers says a lot about the way that not only the Hornets are playing, but Washington and Lee is 0 for 6 from deep right now. So that really favors the Hornets as well if, Malik is not, connecting from deep yet. She's gonna heat up, as you said, 1,000-point scorer. But as much credibility as you can build, as the Generals are kind of off their game right now, as another layup rims out for the Generals. I'd like to see the Hornets play composed, though. Not have to press anything. It's only the second quarter.
Great point there by you. Lynchburg, they make 8.2 threes per game. Washington and Lee make 7.5. So it's not like Lynchburg's the only team out here that can shoot the three-pointer. There was a try from Brooke Kaysen, no good. Offensive rebound. Lynchburg's getting to some of those 50-50 balls, Tim. And when I say some, I feel like they're getting to more. Spin cycle from Darcy Ross, short, or it may have been partially blocked. And now the Generals head the other direction on the move in the blue jerseys. Lay in, won't fall though. It's another chance at the rim that Washington and Lee can't convert. In the first contest, and this is meeting number 2, I don't know if we mentioned that, but Washington and Lee won in Lexington 96-69, plus 16 in the rebounding department for the Generals. So Lynchburg will have to do better there. Another missed shot from the Hornets. Both teams have gone a little cold to begin quarter number 2. Malik got it back after a redirect. It was in Sever's hands. Malik picked it up and fired it into the hole for a deuce. We're tied up again, 18-18.
Yeah, that's the first Washington and Lee basket in 3 minutes of game time. 2 for their last 9 shots, the Generals are.
Casey Kelly feeds it to a cutting Brooke Kaysen, went through the lane. Now looks to get it back to Kelly. 7:05 left to play in quarter number 2. Brandstatter gonna try to turn the corner, couldn't really get home. Back to Kelly. Brandstatter's got another open 3 coming. That was at the shot clock buzzer, no good. Another scramble for a rebound. This time Washington and Lee will clear that one off the glass.
Yeah, I know that shot didn't go in for Brandstatter, but something that I love about the grad students' game is that shot came with, half of a second on the shot clock, and she was still able to get good form, nice release point, follow through. Everything, looked, really classy from Brandstatter, even if the shot's coming from with her back against the wall.
Lynchburg is winning the rebounding battle right now, Tim. 20-15, Lynchburg on the glass. Tie ball game. Washington and Lee went inside again. Great low post defense by the guard, Macy Mullins, but then I think she'll get whistled for the foul. Yeah, it looked like it was on number 3 there. Macy Mullins, the sophomore from Gate City, Virginia. That's Lynchburg's 3rd as a team in the quarter.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, but 35 missed shots already in this game. Seems like a lot.
It does. You're not wrong. I can't correct you on that one. It has not been the epitome of elite shooting so far. We probably haven't given the defenses enough credit for that, though, right? Now, don't get me wrong. There have been some open ones that have been missed, but maybe the defensive pressure before you even get open causes you, like you said, to speed up a little bit. Ross tried to turn around on Slicner. That got deleted out of the air. And now Washington and Lee will look to recapture the lead in a tie ball game. Slicner is back in, playing with 2 fouls. We'll see how she operates. Floater coming. That was nice. And it was number 13, Brianna Shuttlewood, that got knocked to the deck. 5'7" freshman from Maryland. Foul was on Olivia Harris.
Yeah, and Shuttlewood is only shooting 56% from the line right now in her first season. These are the first free throws of the game for the Generals, so an early difference is Lynchburg 4 of 5 from the free throw line. We're getting the first look from the charity stripe for the Generals.
Sometimes that's an indication that you're not going inside and attacking the basket enough, but I don't know that that's the case with Washington and Lee. I feel like they've been operating in the paint quite a bit so far.
Certainly, and you think that there's already been a handful of block shots as well. That means Lynchburg's playing good straight-up defense, not reaching, not bumping the body, which the players kind of forget about. You may have gotten all ball, but if you use the hips, you use the body a little bit, they're going to call that all day.
Absolutely right. Oh, tough take from Olivia Harris. How nice was that? It was like she dropped down to about 3rd gear, looked a defender to her right, and then exploded back to the rim. Yeah, there it was. Had the basketball on her hip, but wisely went up there, and great touch around the rim for the junior, Olivia Harris. She is such an important part of this ball club. Whether she starts or comes off the bench, Tim, she is a force and a really good defender, too. Quickness, foot speed, hand speed, converts the three-point play, and it gives Lynchburg a 2-point advantage again. Shimp will look around. Letty Michael had her tied up, and the basketball spills out. Again, interior defense from Lynchburg is pretty rock solid right now.
Yeah, and going back to Olivia Harris from Salem, Virginia, she's the leading scorer at her high school in Glenvar. And so coming off the bench is kind of an unfamiliar territory for Harris, who came in as a freshman and a sophomore and was starting. She made over about 53s both her freshman and sophomore year. So trying to find a way to work in this off-the-bench role has been maybe troublesome for Harris, but it doesn't look like that on the court as she's really produced really well.
Reese Spainauer will lean in and shoot on Caroline Shimp. No good, but Shimp's going to get saddled with a foul. Just briefly back to Olivia Harris. You think back to that double overtime win inside Turner that Lynchburg had over Randolph-Macon. Harris was electric at the end of regulation and then also in overtime. I mean, she's got that kind of a game. She can take over at times.
Well, I think that's where her experience coming off the bench is really important, because you think about Lynchburg losing the lead to Shenandoah, on the road, and Bridgewater lose the lead. So when you have some veteran leadership from Olivia Harris, who's played in those tight games, it's really important to have her presence and veteran leadership. Not to mention Sarah Brandstatter, who came over from Roanoke as a graduate student. Bree Spainhour sinks both.
23-14. This match is Lynchburg's biggest advantage of the day so far, of the evening rather. And we have had a close ball game. All the numbers indicate that. 6 ties, 7 lead changes already, and we're just now going to be midway through quarter number 2. Exciting stuff so far. Slicener, nice lob pass inside, but another close one. Won't drop for Washington and Lee. Rolled all around the steal there. But the Generals just lacking a little bit of the finishing touch inside right now. There's a foul on the floor as Spainhour drove. Oh, this is going to be 3 on Slicener, I think. No, it's on number 34. Or is it number 33? Tim was giving me signals, and we could have just waited for the referee's signals. Yeah, number 33, Kat Pettigrove, just her first. And here's your under 5 media timeout with the score. Lynchburg leading by 4, 23-19 over Washington and Lee. We're back in just a second on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
A lot of valuable lessons playing college football. I never thought about the health benefits of exercise until I actually started to talk to coaches in college. It's not only just for performance, it's for life. My coaches instilled the importance of well-being, not only building up strength, mental health, getting enough sleep, eating properly is all what it is to be healthy. I decided that I want to go on a personal trainer and share my knowledge that I obtained in college about physical and mental well-being.
Oh, yes. You can hear that pep band, can't you, Tim? I mean, who doesn't love a good pep band, bringing the vibes, bringing the energy, little rock and roll, little soul. It sounds so groovy, doesn't it?
Is that a little subtle plug for your day job, Kyle?
No, sir, not at all. I was just going to move on and talk about basketball. Lynchburg will inbound with the 4-point lead. Harris pops free, fakes the first three-pointer, tries the next one, thinking it hit the backboard first. And it's rebounded away by Icy Kane, who's in the game for some of her first action for Washington and Lee. Kane will try the triple. No good. Mullins picks it up on one bounce, got crowded, and then got fouled.
I think that the play that Coach Allison Nichols draws up out of a timeout is really going to show you into her game plan, because coming out of a timeout, you're really able to get exactly the shot that you want, and the fact that they drew up a three-pointer instead of looking for something inside tells me that Lynchburg really prioritizing that three ball tonight.
A great assessment by you. Those after timeouts, those AOTs they talk about, so important. Here's Macy Mullins, corner three, rimmed it off. Good control inside by Kat Pettigrove, and then the short pass to Slicener. Slicener will bring up the rear. Whew, fastball with the right hand. Kane jumping in the air. Slicener's got it off the window and down for two, and now Washington and Lee is within two. Slicener's almost that point forward kind of player, Tim. She passes and breaks you down with a drive and then gets it right back from the teammates. Very nice there by Kane to get it to her on the move close to the rim. Bree Spainhour, she'll lean in and shoot over two. No good. Slicener's there, reels it in with the long right arm.
Slicer's not matching up with Lynchburg's post player. She's actually out with Brooke Kaysen, the three-point specialist. But once that ball does go into the post, Slicener falls, looking to double down low on the block. Look for Lynchburg to kick it back out to fill the gap that Slicener leaves.
Yeah, a lot of things you can do there as a coach. But again, those great players will find a way to make an impact. Spainhour fell down. Looks like she's okay. Brandstatter forced it up into the front court. It's Mullins, now it's Kaysen looking around. Handoff back to Mullins. 3:03 left to play. Low post entry to Spainauer. One-on-one in there. She wanted to shoot the left-hand hook shot, partially blocked by Pettigrove. It's been an interesting one-on-one battle to watch, and I'm sure we'll see it again. Slicener's free. Pretty easy deuce right there for number 50. The sophomore from Charlotte, North Carolina, has tied the game up 23 apiece between Lynchburg and Washington and Lee. More fresh faces at the scorer's table at the next dead ball. Get back on court. Mullins just outside the lane. Fastballs it back to Brandstatter. Fell over, smothered. Dive after it. That's Spainauer and Pettigrove. The battle continues, this time out on the perimeter, and this time the possession arrow will give it over to Lynchburg. Taylor Brown, Sammy Sever back for the Hornets, Tim, and new faces for Washington and Lee include number 13, Brianna Shuttlewood. Looks like Caroline Shimp back out as well, and also Hannah Malik. Brandstatter's triple try was off the mark. Ball's going to go back to Lynchburg. So there's another one, a rebound. That's basically a 50-50 ball that Lynchburg doesn't quite control. They get a bounce that goes their way. And that feels like Lynchburg's gotten more of those so far, anyway. Ross got blocked. The shot blocking from Washington and Lee is good all the way around, not just Slicener. There's Bree Spainauer in space. Here comes a warm-up lay-in for Spainauer to give Lynchburg the lead back. Great defense, great anticipation. Almost free safety-like out there for Spainauer on the takeaway. 25-23, Lynchburg by 2. Low post entry again, denied. Perimeter defense has been good for Lynchburg, but the paint defense has been even better. Olivia Harris lost it off a defender, and Lynchburg will reset with 92 seconds left to play in the first half. So let's see where this baseline inbound play goes, Tim. They throw it into Brandstatter in the corner. Didn't really look to shoot, but she will look to drive. Oh, that's nice, tight window to slide through, but Brandstatter made it work, and Lynchburg is back up 4 again. 1:15 to play in quarter 2. Malik tried to scoop lay in, partially blocked. Oh, off of Washington and Lee.
Yeah, Kyle, that's another one of those 50-50 balls that you've mentioned that seem to just really be falling in favor of the Hornets. Good awareness from Olivia Harris to, just get a hand on that one, but really just almost a generous call for the Hornets to get that one. Kind of baffled Malik. And checking back into the game for Lynchburg is Brooke Kaysen. She's yet to take a 3. She's the top 3-point shooter on this Lynchburg squad. Yeah,
I believe second in the conference percentage-wise for Brooke Kaysen. Taylor Brown with the turnaround jumper, no good, but Spainauer's there. She loves that reverse layup, going right to left, up and in for the deuce. Lynchburg, biggest lead of the evening so far at 6. You're feeling some more of that energy come back into Turner. Lynchburg's bench is energized. Here comes a drive from Actor, no good. Yes, it was. She shot it over Spainauer and got the roll. Down to 30 seconds left to play.
Lynchburg taking this one up slowly. Could have gone maybe a little quicker. Guaranteed yourself a better possession on the 2-for-1, but still Lynchburg should be getting 2 cracks at this one.
Kaysen, overhead 2-hand pass to Olivia Harris. Harris is going to look around and call a set play. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Spainauer got free. Here comes the kick out to Brooke Kaysen, and she nails it. All net, no rim. That was a big one. Let's see if Washington and Lee can get something off at the buzzer. Malik in no rush at all. Shot got blocked, and that is how the first half will end. You said Brooke Kaysen hadn't fired one yet. Well, she did, and what a time to do it. Hornets are up 7 at the halftime break. Tim and I are back in just a moment to break it all down for you on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.
When creating a sustainable future, your choices matter, even your choice of a college. The University of Lynchburg is the first college in Virginia to go carbon neutral. Our dining hall is Green Restaurant certified. We compost all of our food waste and purchase our electricity from landfill gas. Now we're turning a hazardous lake into a thriving urban wetland. When you choose Lynchburg, you leave a smaller footprint while building a better tomorrow.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
The biggest thing that I've taken from Westover is probably my interactions with faculty. I started working with Dr. Fryer. He's always available for help, and he makes sure that I get to do the experiments and not just be there while he does them. I didn't want to limit myself when I came here to just taking the prereqs for med school. I wanted to get a full, well-rounded education, and I definitely found that in the Westover program. It's given me the opportunity to keep playing soccer at a competitive level, but also it's given me the ability to be a student and to pursue other activities such as EMS. "100% do Westover because it's not something they're going to regret, and it's going to be a lot of work, but so is everything else. It's just going to help build their education that they've already had and make them a better person for it."
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
Living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
Today's a rough day. Jess and I are officially on a break. The couple canoe has broken up.
How you feeling? Living the dream.
Just canoeing. That's the Mexican side behind me. The U.S. is that way.
So far, we're all still alive.
I really want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
Woo! We did it! Kind of.
Look what you're missing!
It really don't matter to me, I'm just happy to be here, I might go crazy.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got one professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
Think a private education is too expensive? Think again. At the University of Lynchburg, you can get a personalized education for the cost of a state school. If you're commuting and you get our top scholarships, you could pay much less. And you get all that without the hassle of giant lecture halls. Our faculty know your name here and do more than just teach. You might even do research together and plan out your next career moves.
Tim Slusser from the Outdoor Leadership Program gave a presentation at a Teaching and Learning Resources conference here about getting his program more involved on the academic side of campus. I mentioned computers and mapping, and he mentioned caving, and eventually we came up with the idea of mapping caves.
So the week before we were able to
learn how to use the instruments kind of like on a flat surface and just kind of get a hang of how they work. But it was really amazing how once we got in the cave, it was a completely different experience using them.
It was unique. It got most of us out of our comfort zone, kind of gave us a new experience, a new taste of something new. But I think the most difficult parts were getting the lighting right. You had to read the instruments with the headlamps while keeping your eye pointed on the plot point.
This allowed them to actually literally get their hands dirty, collecting data, conducting measurements, and putting all that together in the form of a map, and doing it in a place that's never been mapped before.
The Lynchburg Hornets lead at halftime, 32-25. That was the three-pointer near the end of halftime by Brooke Kaysen that gave Lynchburg the 7-point lead. Some other great stuff from the Hornets in this one. Olivia Harris there with a tough finish. Sammy Sever, the Sammy Sever Express, door opening on the left, as my colleague and great friend Tim LaDuca said. And there you go, Timmy. It was a really good first half. I mean, statistically, we could run down some of those thoughts as well. Thought Lynchburg's defense was outstanding. 0 for 9 from three-point range for the Washington and Lee Generals. Lynchburg hasn't been great, 3 of 15, but I would argue without those three, the game obviously has a completely different complexion. So credit Lynchburg, what they're doing. Lynchburg is winning the battle on the glass as well. That was one that I had my eye on. 27-23, Lynchburg +4 in the rebounding department, and that was an area where Washington and Lee really dominated in the first meeting back on December 2nd. A lot has changed since then. The location has changed. How much does home court advantage matter in your opinion? I know we don't have all night to discuss that, but
well, you know, traveling with the team sometimes is a privilege that I get with my job. It's really cool to see the state of Virginia, but I always think a little bit about going up to Lexington. That drive through the mountains can be treacherous. You know, getting car sick in the driver's seat, not very common, but you know, very twisty and turvy. Still a beautiful scenery, but you know, getting to sleep in your own bed. You're at a familiar dining hall. I think playing at home makes a big difference. But I think, you know, you look at the 12th year head coach, Kristen Clancy. She's the 2-time ODEC Coach of the Year the last 2 seasons. So you know that she's going to come out here with some adjustments. And I think the number one adjustment, you know, may seem small, but making sure that Slicner on defense is around the rim when the shots are going up. On defense, she's been out on the perimeter at the free throw line, you know, and she hasn't been involved down low. I'd like to see Slicner, you know, being around the rim on defense so she can grab rebounds and really wreck a game with, you know, the 14.5 rebounds that she's averaging.
yeah, she got the 2 fouls. As you get a look at Coach Clancy there, you got the 2 fouls on Slicner, you know, early on in the second quarter. Now we're in the second half, though, so you can play with 2 fouls in the second half. People do that all the time. I think she's got the green light to block shots, go for steals. You pick up foul number 3, maybe that goes to a yellow light. Foul number 4, it feels like would probably be an obvious red light, although if you're in a tight game, we know that Slicner's going to be out there regardless of foul situation. She's just too good to leave at the end of the bench. And that's no disrespect to the other players on Washington and Lee's roster because they've got a boatload of talent. And you know, it maybe is a little unfortunate when you've got a massive star like Slicner. Sometimes the rest of the team probably doesn't get the full credit that they deserve, really.
Yeah, and I think the biggest key in that department, Kyle, for the Generals is Hannah Malik. She needs to get connected from 3. She's shooting in 33% from out there, leading the team among qualified shooters. So once that ball starts going through the rim for Malik, it's going to be a big difference maker for the Generals.
Yeah, great point by you. Lynchburg's attack was fairly balanced offensively. We saw, Olivia Harris had her moments. Sammy Sever had her moments. Brandstatter, Spainhour, same way. I think if Lynchburg can keep that up, diversify the portfolio a bit, could be a real key. And here's an early turnover. Brandstatter with just some great hands there to get that away from the Generals.
Final thing in the rearview mirror before we focus here on the second half, the free throw differential. 2 opportunities from the line, 2 shots from the line for the Generals, 7 for 8 for Lynchburg from the free throw line. It's been a big difference maker.
Taking advantage there. Sammy Sever will line one up and knock one down. What a start to the half for Lynchburg. They're up 10 all of a sudden. Ooh, and a turnover from Washington and Lee. The momentum is firmly on Lynchburg's side right now. We know momentum is fickle. It can change in a heartbeat, but right now you cannot argue that the Hornets have it. See how long they can hold on to it here, Tim. It's the final day of January, too. Speaking of things in the rearview mirror, really, you get into February, basketball teams are thinking about playoff time. I think both these coaches are starting to feel that coming up quicker than maybe even they realize.
And it's a leap year.
It is. You get an extra day in February for fun. You got your Groundhog Day decorations out, right?
You're a big Groundhog Day guy, aren't you?
Massive. Spainauer overshot the mark. Look at Sammy Sever. Great hustle. Yeah, why not? Keep running, Sammy Sever. Oh, shot clock violation. Still applaud the effort there from Sever. And a good job by Washington and Lee to know the situation and not give up an inch there. You could tell Sever was trying to turn the corner and get downhill, just never really got going towards the goal. So we'll see how Washington and Lee can respond. Here's Schleissner going to work. Had the ball sliced out of her hands by Brooke Kaysen, but that was a foul.
Just looking at how this game may project the rest of the way, 25 first half points for Washington and Lee. The lowest that the Generals have scored is 51. That was in a victory. Second lowest, 56. That was in a victory as well. The Generals know how to win these low-scoring battles.
Great point. Yeah, you don't get to be 18-2 by not winning a variety of games. So that's excellent assessment by you. Here's a cut by Spainauer. Oh, lost it. Schleissner with a pickpocket mention. She's great in the steal department too. And she kept going line to line for Schleissner. Gives Washington and Lee a much-needed bucket.
You're always going to be a step slower when dribbling with the ball, but how about Schleissner beating everybody up the court, even with a few players with a head start and without the ball in their hands?
Yeah.
Really awesome athleticism there from Schleissner.
She's so much fun to watch. If you're a Lynchburg diehard fan, you probably don't like me saying that, but she's a lot of fun to watch. She altered that shot from Sammy Sever. Kaysen picks up the loose ball. Spainauer with 3 seconds on the clock, finishing with the right that time with Schleissner in the zip code there. Didn't bother Bree Spainauer, and Lynchburg's built the lead back to 10. This does match the biggest advantage of the night. Malik knocking it down. Finally, a 3-ball goes in for Washington and Lee. They're within 7. And we'll see how much they rely on that being the 3-point shooting. Bree Spainauer is going to set something up from left to right. Yeah, refuses the screen to the rim, and it went down, Timmy. What a finish from the grad student, Sayer Brandstatter. Excellent stuff right here, attacking the rim, feeling the defense, taking what the defense gives you. It started as just a high ball screen, maybe a pick and roll with Brandstatter and Spainauer, but Brandstatter saw the overplay there and then went down the left portion of the lane. Did miss the free throw. Schleissner gets the rebound, and she'll run again. And she gallops down the court, still on the move, floating and firing. Schleissner is a thoroughbred. That was impressive. Bree Spainauer is going to look over the defense. Hesitation, got forced out of bounds. Number 5, Sarah Zimmerman, probably thought she had a decent job of cutting off the baseline, but that is a body-to-body blocking foul. Second one on Zimmerman. Second this quarter on Washington and Lee. Lynchburg inbound in the corner to Brandstatter. Back to Sever. Tried one avenue, then she'll turn and burn around another. Bounce pass to Spainauer, who cuts across the lane left to right, scores on Zimmerman. Bree Spainauer starting to really come to life here. Doesn't take much for Bree Spainauer, though. She is a big part of the offensive game plan. Playing defense on Schleissner right now. Nice job by Quinn McGinnis to slide through and get one up with the right hand. Wouldn't fall, but McGinnis got fouled in the act, and it'll be 2 free throws.
Yeah, so we talk about Bree Spainauer as a dual sport athlete. She was on the women's volleyball team in the fall, and she was an all-ODAC player as an outside hitter. And something maybe to keep in note, she plays well against Washington and Lee, 14 kills against the Generals.
Oh, yeah.
And when Lynchburg upset the Generals, it was her first win since 2017 on the volleyball court. And so maybe Spainhour has the winning formula against the Generals, regardless of the sport.
It's interesting. You wouldn't think those kinds of things would matter, Tim,
Of
but
course not,
they
but-
do. It really do. As I think Spainhour's going to get saddled with the foul here. Sleisner got the rebound and went up. Yeah, that was the 5-set thriller here inside Turner that Bree Spainhour really took over in the 5th set, if you recall. She was scoring early and often in the entire set for Lynchburg. Sleisner has missed a free throw. Oh, by the way, she's 58% from the free throw line, Tim. So I'm sure that's if there's any part of her game that you would say, she needs to clean that up. But I'd like to see the free throw number be a little bit higher, but right on cue, she does can the second one.
She's a sophomore. That's a number that can improve.
Sure. Yep. 41-34. Foul was on Brooke Kaysen, by the way. Here's Spainhour, right wing. She's got Sleisner out of the paint. That's probably a small victory for Lynchburg when they want to run their offense. Well, Spainhour will look around. Over to Sever, back to Spainhour. Sleisner is going to get a piece of that and send it out of play. Lynchburg will reset with 8 on the shot clock. 6:09 left in the third. Olivia Harris is in the game, catches in the corner. Now she'll drive, left hand. It's a foul on the floor. Lynchburg will have to reboot again here with 5 seconds on the shot clock.
Playing late in the shot clock has been a little bit of an issue for the Hornets. We saw this quarter Sammy Sever forget to look up at the shot clock, but you get a fresh 20 here.
Good news there for Lynchburg. Now they can really get into the scheme a bit more. Three-pointer coming from Sammy Sever. Front rim, Harris challenged for the rebound. Yeah, and you could just kind of see that develop. Didn't have the position there. This is Olivia Harris's first foul, though. Nope, correction, second foul. I was wrong there, Tim. Second personal, 4th on Lynchburg as a team this third quarter. So next one puts them in the penalty. It would be Washington and Lee in the bonus. And there's still 5:45 left to play. Sleisner's going to go to work again. Pretty easy spin cycle there to get by. Attacking the inside shoulder of Bree Spainhour. And now Washington leads within 5. You can hear the teammates calling Bree Spainhour's name because they felt the heat was coming from behind. Bree Spainhour didn't take a glance in the rearview mirror, and it ends up being a turnover. Pressure from Quinn McGinnis. Letty Michael and Taylor Brown back in the game for Lynchburg, Tim.
And they're an exciting duo of young players. We've seen Taylor Brown, her abilities shooting from the baseline, her height, but also Letty Michaels. She's a player that sometimes Coach Nichols has to tell her, you've put up enough shots that you can go home after practice or even after a road trip to North Carolina Wesleyan.
Yeah, she is a hard worker. Basket by Sarah Zimmerman. Sleisner had the double team, passed out of it, and it was perfect to Zimmerman cutting to the basket. Lynchburg's lead has been trimmed to 3. 41-38 with 5:18 left to play in the third on the Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network. The Lynchburg Hornets clinging to a 3-point advantage. It was up to 10 in this third quarter. Lynchburg's got 3 in double figures, Tim. Spainhour with 13. Sever and Brandstatter have 10 apiece. Washington and Lee, as expected, led in scoring by Mary Sleisner, 17 points. Malik's got 5. And we've got a ball game again. We knew that Washington and Lee had a run coming at some point. You've talked about the game of runs, and feels like a good time out there to try to stall out Washington and Lee a bit. Kaysen looking around under some pressure. Shot clock down to 5. Ball is free, ball is lost now. Picked up by Quinn McGinnis. Slicner, jump pass. Open three, look coming. No good from the right arm of Preckle, but the putback falls, and Washington Lee is within one. Slicner another basket. She's got 19 of the Generals' 40.
And put it together with 8 rebounds, so that formula is working out the way that was expected, and that's something I wanted to touch on earlier. She's going to get her 21 and 15.
Taylor Brown at the front of the rim, and then there was friendly fire there between Malik and Slicner. They both collided. Slicner was a bit slow to get up, but she looks like she's full speed again. The basket puts Lynchburg up 3. 4:02 remaining in the third. Slicner, another cut to Sarah Zimmerman. Zimmerman is really moving well off the ball. Slicner's looking for excellent stuff. Generals back within 1.
Yeah, great court vision by the sophomore. She's made a couple of good passes here, including in the previous possession when she was finding McGinnis in transition.
You already mentioned Slicner's a double-double machine, kind of a wild one thrown up there by Brandstatter, and here is Slicner on cue with a jump pass to Malik. Spots for 3, no good. Generals on the glass, can take the lead here on this shot, also won't fall, out of play. And it will stay with the Generals. But yeah, Slicner, points and rebounds, I mean, she's at a double-double every night, but her passing, triple doubles are in play. Her block shots, I mean, quadruple doubles are in play. And don't forget, she's the steals leader on this team with 35 coming into the game, just under 2 per contest.
Lynchburg does have, a similar player in the fact that she's impacting the game in a lot of areas. Sarah Brandstetter is averaging those 10 points a game. She's averaging 5 rebounds. She's the team leader in assists and the team leader with 34 steals. But just then the blocked shot department, not really a big part of Lynchburg's game in general. The leader on the Lynchburg squad is actually a tie with Bree Spainauer, and then maybe surprisingly Brooke Kaysen with 9.
Yeah, and I think Lynchburg guard play, they really defend well, and you're talking about some of the people you just mentioned, Sarah Brandstatter, Brooke Kaysen, Olivia Harris, you have to throw her in there, Sammy Sever. I think Lynchburg probably maybe doesn't get the credit for their defensive play. They hold opponents to 63.3 points per game, which is not a bad number in 4 10-minute quarters, as we did have a timeout. You're going to look there at the Lynchburg timeout huddle. Hornets clinging to a 1-point lead now, Tim. It will be Washington and Lee basketball after the timeout.
I want to ask you why Washington and Lee broke that huddle fairly quickly. Why the dichotomy in Lynchburg really taking all 75 seconds out of this media timeout?
Hey, great question. I mean, sometimes I think as a coach you want to keep the momentum going, but you're going to get stalled out either way because your team's either just going to stand out there on the court and talk to each other, or they're going to listen to you. But some coaches will say, yeah, they've heard me enough. You guys figure it out on your own. We're seeing that a little bit more and more in the modern game. You're going to see more of Slicner. She's got the mid-range going as well. We have a lead change, Timmy, 44-43. Washington and Lee back on top for the first time in a while. Spainauer had a long look, no good. Rebounded by Darcy Ross, who's in the game. Ross, Sever, Spainauer, Mullins, and Letty Michael. 5 on the court for Lynchburg. Shot clock at 9. Mullins probing, trying to slide through. Scoop lay-in won't fall. Slicner with a rebound. She got arm wrestled, and good sportsmanship there by Spainauer to give her a hand up, but it is a foul on Bree Spainauer, her second.
Little odd that you see Bree Spainauer in that position taking a long 2, and then Macy Mullins shooting from the post. I'd like to see those roles switch. Macy Mullins look for a shot around the perimeter, and then Bree Spainauer working from the block.
It is 5 on Lynchburg, so it's a 2-shot foul opportunity for Mary Slicner. First one's nothing but nylon. The lead is back to 2 for Washington and Lee. It's been a while since we've said that. I think the Generals' biggest lead earlier was 4. That has been confirmed by our live stats at lynchburgsports.com. Great way to watch a game. If you haven't done that, if you're into the statistics, the modern game, you can You can watch and get all the information right there at your fingertips at the same time. See how Lynchburg responds. Spainhour, a couple soft jab steps, no dribble yet. Now it's Darcy Ross, free throw line. She'll turn the corner. Shot deleted again by Slicner. Bomb coming off the rim. Scramble for the rebound. And Sammy Sever will get it. Uh-oh. Washington and Lee players slow to get up. 5 on 4 at the moment. We're on the right side of the court. That was Brianna Shuttlewood. That gave good chase going after that ball. She ended up into the bleachers. And as we know, those bleachers can be a bit unforgiving. Hopefully Shuttlewood's okay. It looked like she kind of waved off the trainer, so that's a good sign.
Here's another look at the denial by Slicner, just picking that one out of the air. From Darcy Ross, who's really improved with her post moves. Really good seeing her working with her back to the basket at a higher level.
Traveling violation on Slicner, who started with her back to the basket. But yeah, you just have to remember when you're inside and Slicner's there that some of the things you normally do just don't work. You see coaches in practice, they'll bring out the brooms and the big pool noodles and things like that to simulate a taller shot blocker. Turnover here as Casey Kelly lost it. Malik's gonna run into one. No good. Macy Mullins pulls it out of the sky for Lynchburg and then sort of directs traffic with the hand up. We've got 1:45 remaining in the third quarter. Slicner with a steal, just stepping in front of the pass. And then it's an easy lay-in for number 50, and that will prompt Coach Allison Nichols to take a full timeout. We'll step aside for a breather as well. With the score, Washington and Lee 48, Lynchburg 43, 1:38 remaining in the third period on LHSN.
Want to have some outdoor adventures while getting a degree at the same time? At the University of Lynchburg, we have an on-campus zip line and road course. Plus, we offer adventure trips that cost less than a cup of coffee. And did I mention our beautiful scenery? We're a university for students looking for something more than just books. Welcome to your new adventure experience.
The Kyle and Tim Show. Thank you for being along for the ride. I think right now we're all along for the ride in the Mary Slicner Show, Tim. You're seeing one and many reasons why she is so well thought of. She was the Conference Rookie of the Year last year, Defensive Player of the Year last year as a freshman, and it's just that combo of blocks and steals. Most players, you get one or the other in this skill set. She's got both.
Yeah, and as a sophomore playing with so much confidence, I love the way that she puts the ball on the ground in transition. Obviously has the green light from her coach to do that, but, you know, really veteran presence from a young player.
Slicner pulled that one off the glass, but couldn't quite maintain the control, and it will go back to the Lynchburg Hornets. Hornets need a response here. It's not do or die time by any means. It's probably not a great phrase to use anyway, but it's not make or break yet for Lynchburg. Got to be careful with a team like Washington and Lee. They can turn 5-point advantage like it is now into 10 really quickly. Nice move from Sayer Brandstatter, just getting through the lane and then the spinorama to get free. Couldn't convert. She's got a smile on her face laughing about it. Sure she would love to have another crack. 2 free throws coming for the fifth-year player, the fifth-year transfer, Sayer Brandstatter.
Yeah, that breaks a 3-minute scoreless streak for the Hornets. That is a similar number from the Generals where they were scoreless for 3 minutes. That's when Lynchburg did their damage to build their initial lead. But now, you know, returning the favor here are the Generals. And the biggest number I think that we have to point out at this point, 1 for 14 from 3 for Washington and Lee, 4 for 20 for Lynchburg. The 3 has not been a positive factor for either team.
Casey Kelly, offensive rebound. Pass was deflected. There's a foul as Spainhour got swallowed up by a duo of Washington and Lee defenders. See who it's on for the Generals. Foul is on number 20, Hannah Malik, her second. Generals 5th. So it's bonus time for Lynchburg with Bree Spainhour shooting them. Yeah, the three-pointer lit on the basket from deep. We know that both of these teams can really shoot the three ball. As Spainhour rolls in the free throw, Tim. But, you know, how much of it is nerves? How much of it is defense? How much of it is shooting is tough, and sometimes they just don't fall?
I don't think that it's been the right shot selection so far for Lynchburg. Haven't seen Macy Mullins get many off. Bree Spainhour has taken a few of those threes, which isn't the ideal, distance shooter for the Hornets. Get it in your shooter's hands. We haven't really seen Brooke Kaysen yet here in the third quarter.
Sarah Zimmerman got a deflected basketball and then went marauding through the lane for another basket. She was fouled. I thought Lynchburg's defense was great. The scramble to keep it away from Slicner. Yeah, you see Spainhour swatted away. Deflection ends up to Zimmerman. You could call it bad luck for Lynchburg, but Zimmerman took advantage of the luck and got fouled. Slicner and Bree Spainhour kind of sharing a laugh there on the low block before the free throw goes up. Zimmerman cashes in, and the Generals' lead is back to 5, 51-46. Under a minute to play in the third. Sammy Sever in and out of traffic, looking around. Brandstatter will restore some order to the possession. Spainhour was waiting at the top for maybe a high ball screen. Instead, she's calling for the basketball. Now it's Casey Kelly. Low post, running in, looks around, shot blocked. Don't know if it's Slicner or Zimmerman, but they were both there. And with under 30 seconds, Washington and Lee's got a slight shot clock differential. They can't hold for the last one. Malik shooting early anyway, no good. Brandstatter with the rebound.
Brandstatter instantly looking up the court, seeing she can make something happen, but wisely pockets it across the timeline here with 10 seconds to go.
Brandstatter will use the screen. No roll from Spainhour. Another shot wiped out of the air by Slicner. Up ahead, Generals have got it off in time. High arcing three. That was no good, and that's how the third period will come to an end. 10 more minutes of regulation basketball on the way, with Washington and Lee leading 51-46 on LHSN.
Football has taught me a lot throughout my life. It's definitely had a huge imprint on who I am as a person. Competing at a Division III level created that opportunity for me to go to college. Not only was I the first one in my family to graduate college, but I was really the first one to even go. Being the first one, I'm breaking that cycle, and now that I've graduated, I'm not sure what's the next step, but I know I have a lot of doors open. And a lot of those are open because I played football and ran track here at Otterbein.
Washington and Lee trailed by 7 at the halftime break. They only scored 25 points, and they got 26 in the third quarter alone, so the offense really got busy for Washington and Lee, Tim, and I would argue that the defense led to some of that offense as well. More turnovers, more block shots for Washington and Lee. Just a really good third quarter. Lynchburg down, certainly not out, trailing by 5. Not the way they wanted to start, though, with a pass skipping out of Sayer Brandstatter's hands.
And I'd like to call out something that I said. I thought that the three-pointer is the direction that the Generals had to go to turn things around. I was incorrect. They were able to only connect on 1 3. That was Hannah Malik, who, sank WNL's only three-pointer, but still they were able to put in a big third quarter without the three ball. And this is a big reason why Slicner had a huge third quarter. She's at 27.
So sky and shoot again. Brandstatter running down a loose ball for Lynchburg. This is really the danger area, I think, for Lynchburg. I mentioned Washington and Lee can turn a 5-point advantage into double digits really quick, and it's back-to-back turnovers for Lynchburg on their possessions. And I think if Lynchburg comes up empty the next time they touch the rock, Tim, you'll see Coach Allison Nichols use a timeout. Lynchburg does still have 2 at their disposal. 9:05 left to play in the fourth quarter. Still an eternity, and an offensive foul. What a job there by Bree Spainhour to beat Slicner to the spot, get the feet set, take the contact. Maybe some salesmanship involved. How about this angle right here? Oh, it may have been that elbow there, Tim. It may have been that right elbow just a little bit too high. That's one that officials really keep a close eye out for there. And I do think Spainhour's position was textbook as well.
Yeah, and I think the pregame preparation with Spainhour is really impressive, being that she keeps those arms up. You haven't seen her come down with the arms at all, straight up the entire time. It works out in Lynchburg's favor here. Lynchburg, 16 second chance points and 11 points off W&L's turnovers. They've been able to capitalize off of W&L mistakes.
Spainhour lost it. Yeah, those two, really a good one-on-one matchup, Timmy. I mean, the basketball, the team game, the 5-on-5, that's like jazz, as you've mentioned. But sometimes we get those one-on-one matchups that you really can't take your eyes off. And Slicner and Spainhour have been doing that quite a bit tonight. Shot clock at 3. Macy Mullins knew it. Released in plenty of time, but shot was short. And the Generals are on the run. Zimmerman. Oh, wow, almost circus-like there as Sarah Zimmerman did well just to get the basketball, but then found herself open under the hoop for 2 more. It's a 9-point advantage for Washington and Lee. I keep saying it, Lynchburg got to be careful. Brandstatter high off the window, no good, but Spainhour had the offensive board, and then another one blocked out of play. Block shots. It looks like statistically Washington and Lee's only got 7. Does that feel right?
I think that 7 is a higher number than, may jump off the page to you. Teams are going to be, getting 1 or 2 a game.
Yeah.
To get 7 without even really putting a dent into the fourth quarter yet is pretty gaudy. In that last stoppage of play, Brooke Kaysen checked in. She's 1 for 1 from 3. Lynchburg's path, I don't want to be the boy who cried wolf. Back into this game is going to be the three-pointer. Haven't really gotten hot from out there yet. Brooke Kaysen is a major contributor to that advantage.
Olivia Harris will float through and fire. That one hit the front of the rim as well. I don't disagree with you. I think Lynchburg's got to hit a couple threes in order to come back. Yeah, stranger things have happened. They could do it with all 1s and 2s, but down 9 against a quality team like Washington and Lee, I'm with you. It feels like they're going to have to strike from distance at some point. 7:35 remaining in the fourth quarter. Here's Brooke Kaysen over to Spainhour. Kaysen, Spainhour, Mullins, Harris, and Brandstatter.
Just look at the length that W&L has on the perimeter from players other than Slicner, with Zimmerman standing at 5'10", had her hands up on Brooke Kaysen. It's hard for Kaysen to get an open look, especially because she's not really one who creates her own shot.
Creating was Quinn McGinnis. She went through the shoulder of Bree Spainhour. Foul there on Spainhour. It looked like one where Spainhour really was actually content to maybe give up the lay-in. Yeah, she just tried to swipe it from downstairs, which is a play that a lot of coaches will teach. But in this case, it was a foul, and Quinn McGinnis has a chance to put her ball club up a dozen. 57-46 right now before this one's in the air. Does miss. Spainhour had to pry it away from Slicner. No, beg your pardon, that was Taylor Brown back in. Taylor Brown in for Bree Spainhour. 7 minutes left to play. As Mullins will go swashbuckling through, but can't find the treasure at the end of that run. We'll see how quickly Washington and Lee wants to shoot. You get it look like that, you have to take it. Quinn McGinnis, backdoor cut, made it work. And now the advantage is at 13. If you're Lynchburg, you really have to be careful now. I hate to say it, but Tim, it does almost feel like it's now or never time for Lynchburg.
It's a 25-5 run in the last 10 minutes of basketball here for the Generals. Really just a lid on the basket right now for the Hornets.
Mullins show and go and then pull from 15 off the mark. Lid's still on there. Lynchburg did not shoot it great in the first meeting between these two ball clubs as Brianna Shuttlewood traveled. Game 1, remember that was a 96-69 Washington and Lee win back in early December. Lynchburg was 4 of 20 from three-point range in that game. Taylor Gant is in the ball game for her first action for Lynchburg. Gant will come free and get that basketball from Olivia Harris. Harris back to the top. Working around the high ball screen, hammer dribble, around the defense, got it to the window, but couldn't get it to fall. 2 free throws coming for Olivia Harris. Foul was on number 13, Brianna Shuttlewood. Good to see Shuttlewood back out. She was the one that took the spill into the bleachers, but apparently just fine, picking up her 2nd foul there. Lynchburg, free throws are going to be critical. Maybe you could argue same point for Washington and Lee if Lynchburg is trying to foul to stop the clock late. Got to cash in on the freebies in this 4th quarter. Harris does just that, netting 2. Lynchburg's within 11. If you're the Generals, I mean, I was in the midst of saying it when they scored, but do you take more time on the shot clock with 6 minutes to go, Tim, or is it just, I don't know, maybe you don't want to get away from what works?
Yeah, I don't know. They're getting really easy looks down underneath the basket. So maybe a shot like that from Malik, you're going to want to take a little bit later in the shot clock. But those easy ones down low, like the one that Olivia Harris just had, you can't pass those up. It would be counterintuitive to not shoot a wide open layup.
Excellent point. Brandstatter with a nice football toss feed. And there you go, Sarah Zimmerman. She has quietly put together an outstanding game as she gets the right-handed hook shot in there.
Yeah, part of this big run has been Sarah Zimmerman, who's made 5 of her last 6 shots. You really just can't miss.
Some of that is proximity. She's getting to the basket, getting some good looks, as you said. Foul on the floor there on Quinn McGinnis, her 2nd. 3rd on Washington and Lee as a team. Could be a glimmer there for Lynchburg if you can get in the bonus sooner rather than later. There's still 5:20 left to play. A lot of time in basketball terms. No good on the turnaround from Taylor Brown. Sliced down the middle. Now hesitates on a string. Gets it going 1st, 2nd, 3rd, then 5th gear to the rim for 2 more. And she plays like a guard. She can really do so much. Slicner's got Washington and Lee up 13. Gant was open, nailed it. There we go, maybe some momentum for Lynchburg from number 4, Taylor Gant. Gant is usually more of the backup point guard that will come in for Sayer Brandstatter, but you got her and Brandstatter on the court at the same time, and Gant is showing you why with a block shot rejection right there from number 4, Taylor Gant. We'll get the media timeout coming here. Tim and myself will step aside for another quick breather. Washington and Lee by 11, 4:39 to play in the ball game on LHSN.
Living the dream. USA, Mexico. That was so exciting.
Lynchburg is all about you, your ideas, and your goals. We've got 1 professor for every 10 students, so you can get all the support you need. In the classroom, in the lab, or in nature. You'll learn by putting yourself out there, and we're right there with you.
.439 remaining in regulation. Lynchburg down but not out. It's been an outstanding second half from Washington and Lee. They have picked up the scoring pace. If you didn't miss our little tidbit earlier, Washington and Lee had 25 points at the halftime break. They scored 26 in the 3rd quarter alone. Generals are up to 63 right now. That effort missed. Brandstatter and Brooke Kaysen control the rebound together. And now Lynchburg, they really need to get busy cooking a little bit in the kitchen here, Tim. I don't know that you need all the special sauces, but Lynchburg has got to get something going. Olivia Harris will try to start the party. Overshot the mark from the left wing. Generals on the run. Zimmerman managed to keep the feet there. Slicner could not keep the ball. Rolled it back in. Great effort. Lynchburg will take possession, though. Hornets have a 5-on-4 as Slicner's late getting back. Gant, fastball, left low post, and the basket is good by Taylor Brown. Lynchburg's within 9. Door's still open.
Taylor Gant putting together some really impressive minutes here in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's fun to watch for Taylor Gant. Well-deserved, too. Another one of those hard workers. Little shovel pass inside to Slicner. Shot was blocked. She'll go to the free throw line and shoot 2. If you're Taylor Brown, I would argue that's not a bad result, given Slicner's free throw percentage. And at the very least, you play her tough and make her earn it. Third one on Taylor Brown.
Yeah, and it's points going on the board without the clock running. Of course, you want that to be happening for Lynchburg if you can get some free throw opportunities. But with Slicner shooting just around 50%, you know, maybe you catch a break here, and she goes 1 for 2 at the line if you're the Hornets.
Slicner makes the first. Second one coming from the right-handed shooter. That was even better. She does make both. Washington Lee's back up 11. Here's Taylor Gant. Just a quick note in regards to Gant. Yeah, averaging 6.5 minutes per game. Actually slightly under that at 6.4. And she's done at least that or more here in the second half and really played some pretty good basketball as well. Pinball knocked out of play. Lynchburg will have to reset. Brandstatter's going to do the honors with 3:21 left in the fourth.
Washington Lee does a great job of kind of luring you into the middle of the floor. And once you get down to in front of the basket, they just collapse. 2, 3, 4 generals. Blue jerseys just surrounding. Not to mention the 6'1" frame of Slicner, who is going to get called for the foul here, and send a very good free throw shooter in Bree Spainhour to the line.
Spainhour got a step. Fourth foul on Mary Slicner. This was something we discussed. You go at her, which you say you go at her. Well, look, if she's guarding Bree Spainhour, Spainhour is one of the key offensive options, so you're going to be going at her anyway. And Spainhour has converted the free throw. So Lynchburg does have another crack in the door. Slicner stays on court, playing with 4 fouls. Keep your eyes on that. Let's see if she adjusts her game. Sometimes players don't. Yeah, she'll start a high post drive and shoot on Bree Spainhour. That's a foul this time on Bree Spainhour. I think Spainhour's fouls are racking up as well. Yeah, 4 for number 25.
If we get another look at that, we're going to watch to see if Bree Spainhour gets the body, because she's still going up with the arm straight up. So it's got to be something with the lower body bumping underneath.
Slicner, another swish there. She's really, we said just over 50%, but boy, in pressure time, maybe the number is higher for Mary Slicner. And with this one rimming off, the lead will be planted at 9 for Washington and Lee. 66-57, under 3 to play.
Surveying the court, you got 4 3-point shooters out there. The only one you really don't want taking a 3 if you're the Lynchburg Hornets is Bree Spainhour.
Spainhour going to drive on Slicner. Can't get it to drop, though. Slicner did well to not commit the foul and still alter the shot. Malik's going to get by Taylor Gant. Put the brakes on, and Gant was on the back bumper there. That should be Taylor Gant's first foul. It is 4 on Lynchburg. Washington and Lee has 4, so the next foul will put either ball club in a bonus situation. Brandstatter did well to contest, and then, Sarah Zimmerman didn't get the feet established back in bounds. So good play there by Sarah Brandstatter. That's one that I think is deceiving in basketball, because Brandstatter doesn't get a steal for that, Tim, but she really deserves credit for getting the possession back.
Yeah, with the lacrosse season coming up, you have a caused turnover, a little bit different of a word. You know, you can give a caused turnover there to Brandstatter.
Spainhour trying to get a workaround, and one more shot altered, if not even deflected, by Mary Slicner. So good inside. And remember, she's playing with 4 fouls. And with the shot clock at 17, Washington and Lee can run the game clock under 2 minutes. It looks like that is their intention here. Taking a little bit of time. Runner from Malik is good. That was tough. And the game clock does just drop under 2 minutes. Washington and Lee is up 11. It really is danger time now for Lynchburg.
And this is something we've seen all game long. Look at the high ball pressure extending the 3-point line for the Generals. There's just nothing for the Hornets to get an open 3 off of right now.
Backdoor cut from Spainhour. Good feed. Binoculars up there from Sarah Brandstatter to find her and put it on target. 68-59. Washington and Lee would be wise to run some time off now. Slicner, elbow, driving, scoring. Yeah, when you can just score 2 more points, why worry about winding the clock down, Tim?
Yeah.
70-59.
34 points.
So good. With a final stat line, probably going to be even higher. Brandstatter went back door looking for Spainhour. Now she will get it a little bit later than she wanted. Spun and lost it. That's deflected out of play. 61 seconds left. Here comes another three-point shooter for Lynchburg, Tim. That's Olivia Harris in for Taylor Gant. Hornets down 11. Tossing it into Olivia Harris, who made herself available. Spainhour at the free throw line, lost it, scramble. Slicner will casually pick it up and feed to Malik. Malik bumped, and that will be 2 shots now. It's 5 on Lynchburg as a team. As Sayer Brandstatter, I don't know that it was intentional, but it probably wasn't a bad idea to just go ahead and get her in the backcourt. If Lynchburg cannot complete an improbable comeback, Tim, they're going to fall to 11-9, but just really, I think one of those deals where the record does not reflect how good this Lynchburg team is. If Washington and Lee holds on, they'll be 19-2. That does reflect how good they are. Just the one lone conference loss to Shenandoah. Slicner got more stats. You're running out of room on your stat sheet to keep her stuff. Rebound, put back, 2 more points. And really, that probably puts the game out of reach. Sever, NBA Ranger, nailed it. Maybe there is still a slight crack in the door there for Lynchburg with the triple from Sammy Sever. Down 11, foul as Malik had to keep away game going, a game of tag. Lynchburg finally got to her with 34.2 seconds left in the 4th quarter.
You mentioned the 11-9 record for the Hornets. Is that correct?
If this scoreline holds, obviously, which.
But also moving to 6-5 in the conference, and just to make the tournament, still with a young team is going to be important for the Hornets and the ODAC. They made the tournament last year, had to go on the road, lost to a Ferrum team that was playing well at the end of the season. So Lynchburg trying to fight for that one of those top 10 spots, and hopefully, 7 or 8 position, and you host a first-round playoff game.
Yeah, Lynchburg is back in action at Hollins this Saturday. Another team, it'll be round 2 facing Hollins. They beat them earlier this season inside Turner. Lynchburg's not back at home until Wednesday, February 7th. It's just a week from today. I made it seem like it was a lot longer than that, as it's a jump ball tie-up, and the alternating possession will go to Washington and Lee. Shot clock will be off. Generals don't have to do anything here. Don't think Lynchburg's going to foul intentionally. And this is probably how the game is going to end at 75-62. Double team on the sideline there. But it's just academic at this point for Washington and Lee. Game clock is under 5 now, and the Generals are going to win it, Tim. They move to 19-2 on the season for Washington and Lee. 13-1 in ODAC play. Generals have now won 4 in a row and 15 of their last 16. Lynchburg is going to fall to 11-9, 6-6 in the ODAC. And Lynchburg, after a win on the road against Virginia Wesleyan, has now lost 1 in a row. Final thoughts here, Tim. I mean, I don't know if we've talked about Mary Slicner too much, but when you have 38 points, 17 rebounds, 5 steals, 3 blocks. She added 2 assists in there. Oh, we said maybe free throws were her weakness. All she did there was go 6 of 8 from the charity line. Yeah, I don't think you can talk about that stat line too much.
No, and it's a privilege to see her play. It's going to be a privilege to see her try to lead this Washington and Lee team to another ODAC championship. Won last year. So she was just a real privilege to watch. Unfortunately, it comes at the demise of the Hornets as they fall 75-62. Lynchburg did get some good scoring from Spainhour. She finishes with 20, and she was primarily matched up with Slicner, so that's really impressive. 13 from Sever, 11 from Brandstatter. I just think that when you look at Washington and Lee, they didn't shoot the ball well. They didn't shoot the ball well from 3, and they were still able to really just take control of this game. And then overcoming a first-half deficit shows the ability to play through some adversity, which is what they're going to have to do the rest of the season as they play in tough ODAC conference.
Yeah, Generals actually fell down 10 early in the third quarter there, if you remember. So that shows their class to fight back from that without maybe quote-unquote their A game from three-point. They got their A game from Slicner, though, and Lynchburg. Yeah, I think the Hornets, I think Coach Allison Nichols, the coach that she is, she's going to find a way for her team to take some confidence from this. Unfortunately, it's another game where Lynchburg did have a second-half lead. They've had a few of those this season. But I piggyback on your point about the ODAC. The ODAC is just so tough. You're going to have leads on teams, and they're going to come back. It's that kind of a league. The competition level is so good. And Lynchburg is, I think, getting close to that, where they want to be. But unfortunately, tonight it was not to be as they fall to Washington and Lee, 75-62. I mentioned Hornets are on the road at Hollins this Saturday, February 3rd. Back at home against Ferrum next week, February 7th, 1 week from today. So that'll be our next LHSN broadcast for the women's hoops team. But, yeah, men's hoops is busy and swimming is busy and spring sports are right around the corner, Tim. I mean, we've got spring sports playing scrimmages and things this weekend, and real games will be here in like a couple weeks. It's a wonderful time to be a Hornets fan.
Yeah, and it's a privilege to see this journey, watch these games with you. Thanks for being a big integral part of our athletic communication team, Kyle.
Let's do it again. And if fans want to know more about all that stuff, lynchburgsports.com. Sign up for the email alerts.
Please.
At the bottom of every recap if you haven't signed up already.
It's a life hack. It's a life hack to be subscribed to those emails. lynchburgsports.com/subscribe, and you're going to get Lynchburg Sports in your email. It's really, really a good time.
And there's so much great stuff on the social media. It's so cool to see the players up close and personal. We get to watch them compete, but then we learn about their personalities and all those things, and coaches too, and it's a lot of fun. What everybody's doing, hard work by our team tonight. Christian, JP, Evan, Sam Rice, Laura Porto. Might have left somebody out.
Sebastian Sierra, where
Sebastian's around in there? Yeah, let's go. It was a fun night. 2 games on LHSN. Don't know if you watched both or not, fans, but really hard work by the team tonight, and I think we pulled it off. Unfortunately, Hornets basketball teams can't get the dubs, but they live to fight another day, and it will be a good run here to the postseason, expecting big things. I know we all are, Tim.
Go Hornets.
Go Hornets. We'll say so long tonight, basketball fans. Thanks so much for watching. Washington and Lee, 75. Lynchburg, 62. You saw it all live on the LHSN Lynchburg Hornets Sports Network.